Hello everybody again. Well, it's nearly school again, but I'm actually going on holiday next week. So this is the last little recipe I'm going to be doing. Charlotte's going to be doing one next week. And it's a recipe which uses beans and lentils, and most people don't like beans and lentils, do they? But I hope you're going to find that when you make this thing, it's a bean burger, they'll actually really like it. So I've got some different beans here. So you can use any beans for this recipe, but we've got some lentils. Those are red lentils. Those are kidney beans, those are green lentils, and those are butter beans. By preparing some vegetables here, I've got carrot, I've got some coriander, I've got some onion, and I've got some garlic. And basically I'm going to grate the carrot. The carrot gives a kind of sweetness to the recipe. And also a bit of moisture in it too, because all vegetables are about 80% water, and when you cook them down, all this water will come out. So that's the carrot. Here's the onion. I'm going to do it my way. You know how to do it now. How long you've been learning how to chop onions? So there's the onion. I'm going to do the garlic. They're small cloves of garlic, so I'm going to use 3 of them. You need lots of flavour in the beans. Beans don't have much flavour in themselves. I mean, they have a kind of nice, gentle flavour, which you can get used to. But the onion and the carrot and the garlic are going to give lots of flavour to it. So I've got my onions, carrot and garlic. I'm now going to put a good dollop of olive oil in there. You can use any vegetable oil really. And I'm going to put first of all the onions and the garlic in there and get them squashing down a bit. And then I'm going to measure out about 400 grams . So that's beginning to sweat down. You all know about making sure that you sweat the onions right down until they're completely soft and sweet. Here we go. So while they're cooking, I'll just say a little word about the spices that we're using. Like the garlic and like the onion and like the carrot, the spices are going to bring flavour, basic things. So here are the spices. We've got some cumin, some coriander, some smoked paprika, some black pepper, there's some salt, and in the middle is just a little bit of chili flakes, but you don't have to put those in. And it's a really good idea to put all your spices ready on a little plate, so that when it comes to adding them, you just chuck them in. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So I've got all those ready now. I don't have a food processor at home, so what I'm going to do with this, I'll put these carrots on here actually, and they're going to go in with the onions in a minute. I don't have a food processor, so what I'm going to do is put them all on the board like this, and I'm going to mash them up with a fork, just like this, till they're quite coarse. Quite good fun. Mash them all up, all together. It's going to be a very colourful bean. Camera person, I've slightly, as you can see, slightly burnt these, but that's fine. A bit of colour is quite nice. It's got a lovely smell anyway. So in go the carrots. carrots, onions and garlic. They're almost soft enough for me to add the spices. In they go. Always toast spices a bit, whether it's a curry or a spicy bean burger or whatever you're making. Sort of toast them off a bit, it brings out the flavours. I can really smell that smoked paprika now. Okay, coming back to the beans, they're sort of mashed. You don't have to have them really pureed. You want a bit of texture in this. But something that occurs to me is that you might not have a big chopping board like this. So you can do it on a clean work surface. It's fine to do it on as well. And then you're going to get it all into a bowl. Scraped off here. Such a lovely smell that mixture's making. I'm going to get rid of that now. Okay, so this is done. In they go, these vegetables. Actually, there's one thing I've got to add into here, which is lots of chopped coriander, stalks and all. You're going to be getting all this in your kits. We will have mixed the spices together to make it easier, but there will be those 3 spices, which you'll remember. Or is it 4? I can't remember. There we are, that's going to go in. Herbs are so good too to bring flavour. I'm going to put 2 last ingredients in here. One is an egg. The egg helps bind the whole mixture together so it doesn't fall apart when you're cooking it. I'm actually going to put 2 eggs in here because I've made quite a big mixture, but I'm going to put some breadcrumbs in. A mixture of wholemeal bread and white bread. A bit lumpy, some of it. And that's going to help also bring it all together so it's firm enough to be able to handle and turn into a nice cake-shaped bean burger. I might just put a little bit more in. The recipe says 50 grams, but you want to add as much as you think you need till it's the right consistency, and you can see it's beginning to stiffen up a bit. And I might just put in mine a tiny bit of salt. Sometimes when I'm making a lot of bean burgers, I'll cook off a little one first of all, just to make sure that I've got the right seasoning, because you can always add a bit more afterwards. Now, I forgot to put the most important ingredient of all into this burger mix, which is the ketchup, because it really makes a difference, and that's so silly. So you won't forget it though. Make sure you've got the bottle of ketchup right there with you. We're going to make sure you've got some. So you just take a spoonful. You can shape it with your hand, but I tend not to bother. So a nice hot pan and a spoonful like that. Careful when you're putting them in. Obviously you've got hot oil in there. And don't put them too close together. I'm just going to put 4 in here. You can always cook some more afterwards, can't you? There we are. They're not necessarily all the same size, are they? But that doesn't matter either. Put a little bit more on that one. And you can see that there's a little bit of butter bean there, there's a bit of kidney bean there, and you can see the red lentil colour in there as well. So it's got a nice mixture of colours and textures. So I'll turn it down just a little bit, and I'm going to let it sit there, not touch them, not press them, not turn them over, until I really know that they are just beginning to get brown. And that's all about making a judgment, thinking to yourself, what are they going to look like underneath there? And I'm thinking it's going to need about another 1 minute. And I'm going to just see how these are doing now. They've had about another minute. There we are, nice and brown and crispy, look at that. They do look nice, don't they? I mean, you're probably thinking, they look nice, but will I like them because they're made of lentils and beans? You won't know till you've tried. So I think that's almost it. I think they're done. Another thing actually is quite interesting about cooking is there's always lots of sounds when you're cooking, and I can hear the sizzling here, and that tells me that they're frying rather than doing anything else. But they look lovely, don't they? Whichever way up they go. And I am going to I'm going to have 2 for my lunch. I think. Maybe I won't. Yes, I will. Like that. And I'm going to put a little bit of salad that I've just made. And that's Chinese leaf. It's cucumber. Very old-fashioned way of presenting it. And there's one more thing I'm going to add to it as well, which is a bit more ketchup.